Let's move on to one other thing that I wanted to ask you, because we talked about Donald Trump, and personally, I can't see Donald Trump being a socialist leader.
No.
What kind of person could lead MAGA or the socialist movement into the future? I don't see it being a Bernie Sanders type. What do you think?
I think it'd be somebody like Huey Long. You know, we had a political leader in Louisiana in the 1930s. He was the governor of Louisiana, and his slogan was "Every man a king, but none shall wear a crown." And he was a populist politician, and he started the Share Our Wealth movement.
Hmm.
You know, and I think of socialism in the United States kind of giving birth to populist figures who are fighting
Okay.
for working families, fighting for the working class. I look at old videos of Huey Long and his speeches about how we've got to share the wealth, we've got to make sure that American families have what they need and to
Right.
support economic growth. You
So
know,
he's
yeah.
either gone now or too old if he was a leader in the 1930s.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure, sure, but his Share
so
Our Wealth movement.
what
But you
about
know,
in
Roosevelt,
contemporary
Roosevelt had no
times?
problem.
Do we have a leader?
Well, Roosevelt had no problem aligning with communists, right? And that Roosevelt very much. I mean, if you listen to his Madison Square Garden speech that he gave during his 1936 campaign, he said, "Never before have Wall Street, you know, been so united against a candidate, and I welcome their hatred." And Roosevelt said workers had the right to occupy their factories and sit down strikes. And
Right.
and I can see a figure emerging in the United States that would kind of give birth to that. But Donald Trump, you know, he is a Bonapartist figure. He represents the lower levels of capital. And because he believes in economic growth and because he's not so enthusiastic about militarism and war, and because of these things, he's kind of giving birth to a section of the American working class and the lower levels of capital that are at odds with the prevailing, you know, trend of imperialism, which is degrowth, which is, you know, regime change wars around the world. Donald Trump is the beginning of the kind of consciousness that could lead to a genuine socialist movement. That's my understanding of it. Donald Trump is not
Right.
a socialist, but his movement represents an awakening of the working class to some degree or other, and the lower levels of capital mobilizing the working class to resist the agenda of the ultra rich. And that's why MAGA communism is something I'm very interested in and have a positive perspective on.